we don't see that often, right? But yesterday we were in for a treat, and I think today both of these players will perform. Energy steal. Tersaikk's gonna be having to make really tough decisions to to either pass or to just go all out.
Yes, and as well, Seb's gonna have to make some decisions. I feel like a timely pass on a reptile can break or make the game.
Yep. So let's see. First round, there's a Goda, but there's actually two Godas on the side of Seb, so he might just use two of them. Slowing down a lot of the tempo. And Tersaikk, that is a terrible round one draw. Double tiny catapult, a Kotaro, all of them not really gonna get any value. You don't want to play cards on your midline anyways if you can save them for a brick. So first round, yes. Do you think both of them would just pass here?
Most likely we see a pass here. Maybe you'll see a couple of Godas being thrown around, if anything. I do agree with you on the plant as well. That's a little problem I had looking at it. It's going to have some clunky draws, but it will have some high shields and high damage. It's probably just going to stack cards, not even play anything until the dust goes down, and then just be stacking 2 or 3 turns of cards.
And here, 3 Godas will come out. No cattail draw for Seb, so he's going to be taking a lot of damage on towards the front without much in return. Double Goda just gets rid of all of Seb's energy. The Kotaro gets no value, and this will be a dead Dusk. He didn't lose too much. Like, the front Dusk had no cards. Sad he didn't get any cattail value, but he did still get the hair value, and yeah, both sides on low cards and almost and no energy as well.
Yeah, Seb having a 2-card advantage while Tersaikk having a little bit of more HP on his Dusk. Not even sure if that's good, because if the mech actually draws cards and then the Dust draws cards and the mech actually kills the Dust before he's able to use his cards, that can be really bad for Tersaikk as well.
Yeah, for new players, this might look like a really good situation for Tersaikk, but it's actually not really, because your drawers are split. You're very slow AXIE. Oh, the last stand as well. If he draws 2, but he's going to get at least some cattail values. Not the biggest thing in the world. And he does do a little bit of damage. Yeah.
Very good. Anytime you can deal damage to a reptile, it's super good. Just because it's so hard to kill. So just like chipping away at it is very important. It puts a lot of pressure on the reptile to use a lot of cards. And it forces them to use shield every single turn, which you can then decide to pass. And then next turn it's going to be a lot easier to kill.
Yeah. Goda into double Scaly Spoon. Just the reflect alone puts Seb on, 2/3 of health. Not a great situation to be in, and with 2 energy, there's not much he can do. He did see double Scaly, so he's going to play only range cards here. Being able to infinitely cycle is really nice, playing with the hair as well. But now Kotaro value does come out.
The only problem is that he decided to go with the Goda instead of the hair dagger, and that's actually going to make the rep live. That might actually just give the Tersaikk's bug just too much time to kill, as you can see.
Yeah, that it's already a tough matchup when you're 2/3 health against a bug that has sticky goo as well as a way to just constantly stay on the board. But being low HP, not being able to cleanly kill the reptile definitely was an issue there for Sid. But at least you won't be too sad about it. Sure, these players are competitors for sure. They don't want their tournament lives to end right here. But when it happens, it happens. You can't really dwell on the past for too long.
No, and none of these players are here by accident, so it just makes for great games, because you're always going to see the top level gameplay. And then we do see a cattail and a Goda here. Pretty standard play.
Round 1 Goda, round 1 cattail. We've seen this film before for sure. And it's just an exchange of energy for energy. Tersaikk did get 1 card for his troubles, but not going to be a huge hindrance to both sides. He does draw Goda himself though for Tersaikk, so that is something that he definitely will play the next turn, especially on the front. He's just going to use all the cards he has. I don't think Seb, looking at the hand size here, there's no way he can burst this Dusk with four energy. So I think Tersaikk will feel pretty safe to play the Goda Sandal.
Yeah, it's such a good card, Goda, especially when there's no energy gain, because that they're going to be on a certain amount of energy next turn, and then you can play on your AXIE that has low HP, feeling pretty safe that it's not going to be dead before you get to use its cards.
Yep. Double serious, completely whiffs there from Seb. And the crit. And of course, what a way to start the day.
I feel honestly really bad for Seb. You know, like he's such a great player, but like he just can't catch a break.
Yeah, the worst thing that could happen right now is if he draws, 3 cards on the front. That would be a heartbreaking situation for him.
That would be like I'm done AXIE for today kind of luck.
Yeah, he did use double serious, which completely misses as well. So that's 2 energy, pretty much used for nothing. He does draw a cattail, which is not the worst thing in the world. Didn't have get the worst draw. The hair didn't draw on towards the front planted dusk as well. Ooh.
Oh, Seb's like, okay, that's not bad. Okay. He that really helps. That helps tremendously. Like he's such low on cards. The matchup's looking so bad right now, and to get a cactus crit on a reptile when you have like a mech in the back still, it literally gives you that little shining light and gives you that glimmer of hope.
It went from impossible to, hey, maybe this is doable here for Seb. He can just pass this turn, or if he wants to brick, buy some time, he can definitely do that because the midline reflectile doesn't do a lot of damage before round 5. Sure, next turn is round 5, but we don't see any tiny dinos drawn here yet from Tersaikk. So a glimmer of hope here for Seb.
Yeah, so now it actually puts Tersaikk in an awkward position because now you always need to play shield on your rep, and as you can see, Seb knows that, goes with the pass, and it's pretty tough, right?
It is. He did take significant damage once again, but slightly less than the previous time, where he just hit into a scaly spoon. Ooh, huge cattail value here, and it survives. That's huge for Seb. That's winnable.
Yeah, and he actually goes for the reverse kill too. Not only do you survive, but you also take out the front line. And now we're in a similar spot from last game, but with the players switched.
Yep, and the card draw is going to come out huge here for Seb. With the cattail, with the double hair, always being able to get the hair value means that he's going to be staying on a full hand of cards every single turn. He can keep cycling 2 energy with 2-0 cost. And without the mosquito this turn, Tersaikk, do you try and brick up? He does. But, will it matter?
Hair Dagger just being one of those cards, when you're the fastest AXIE on the board, Hair Dagger is absolutely busted.
Yeah, he didn't get value from the Hair Dagger this turn, though, because of some mechanics. When you use Hair Dagger on a full hand, you kind of have to have it on the second card to get value out of it, but it doesn't really matter right now for this. Oh, he actually died there. Oh, Caterpillar damage.
Caterpillar plus Sneaky Goo just taking down the match, just stopping 2 cards that turn and just giving out a little HP to survive that. That was actually crazy. It looked like Seb had that, but just Caterpillar coming
in this situation, right? 1 game down. Nerves are definitely going to start catching up to you. As experienced as you are, being on the brink of being eliminated is not a situation that anyone is comfortable with, right? You want to be ahead, you want to be 2 games ahead, which Tersaikk is now, but we've seen players also celebrating too early and might affect the outcome of the game as well. So this might be it. This might be the last game of the series. Seb going all out, throwing every single card he has. Caterpillar value.
Once again, one of the Dusks just don't have shield, and you're going to see a huge HP difference at the end of this turn.
Yeah, much better draw here for Seb. Actually drawing front Dusk cards as well as Cattail. So he's going to have a much fuller hand, and he draws the second Cattail as well. So this front Dusk might not feel safe, even if he draws like Caterpillar plus Sando, with the shields, he might not feel safe to use them. He might just lose his Dusk before he's able to play those cards.
Yeah, and this is where actually the AXIE skill comes into a lot of play. Something that a lot of people need to learn if they want to bring their game to the next level is how last stand works. So you need to literally calculate how much damage can he deal. Do I go into last stand? And if I play 2 cards, can I get those 2 cards off? Which is super high level thinking.
Yep, and both sides just, making sure neither side gets any energy steal advantages. Here, Seb's going to kill off the front Dust. It's going to be enough damage. It's not going to be last stand. And now he's 1 AXIE ahead. With the hand size that he has, it's actually a pretty decent situation here for Seb. And because his front is actually just speed tied but lower HP, he's going to get the Sando value off if he wants to use it. but looks like he's just going to decide to pass.
Yeah, that is very nice. Also, a thing that now that Seb's in the best spot he was the entire match. He has a full hand with his plant. Both players are going to just be signing their cards, and as you can see, Tersaikk has not much to defend his reptile next turn.
Yeah, no energy, not great cards there. Only one bulwark. He might draw a couple of others, but into Cactus, that is huge damage that you really want to block off because Seb he did like to play the Godas earlier, but I don't think Tersaikk will give him the Goda value. Right, he's just gonna use three cards on his front, no matter what he draws. Try and keep it alive for one more turn before it goes to that 1v1.
Yeah, that's why Godas is so important. Even if you don't even have it in your hand, just the fact that the Goda pressure of them having it on one of their AXIEs really messes up the opponent.
So he switches things up. He used to play like the Goda here, or like just a range card on the back to try and deal damage. But here he does just not play any mech cards. He doesn't want to give that reflect damage, which he did the previous turn, which might have been a factor to him losing the game.
Almost a little misorder by Seb here. There was like 3 damage off from being feared there.
Yeah, the shields were just so close. But here, all out damage. He did see one Scaly Spoon, so he knows it's absolutely safe to just spam cards. And this is going to be the best situation that Seb can hope for. His plant is still alive. He can safely pass and stock up energy to go to that 1v1.
Yeah, and basically Tersaikk wasted his energy. He just did like 270 damage into a 250 shield. That can't feel good.
It doesn't. And Seb being able to cycle his full hand makes him to be in a very good situation. Still, the fear is going to come out again. Would this matter this time? The last time around it did matter, but here Seb doesn't have the option to play 3 energy damage, so he has to just do this combo, and he sends the bug to last stand. And I think Seb finally is able to break Tersaikk and bring this to a match number 4.
Yeah, super well played by Seb there. But even though it was pretty close, I think Seb was pretty close at the end. Man, that bug is really hard to kill with the caterpillars, with the mosquito, with the snicky goo. It's actually crazy. Like I thought that match was going to be a lot one-sided than it actually. Yeah, if it ever gets to a 1v1 situation with that catfish aqua, Tersaikk has no chance of winning this.
Right, he used for 120, I believe, without attack plus. Against a bug body, so it's gonna come out really clutch. Both sides are gonna keep trying to sustain, but Aqua's always being faster, having bigger shields as well as the body type advantage is going to be tough for Tersaikk if it ever reaches that 1v1 situation. But we'll see if it ever reaches that point, because round 1 draw, both sides. There is Goda, there is Caterpillar on the bug. For Tersaikk, on Seb's side, he does have a lot of damage cards as well that he can throw out. What do you think is the best play here for both sides in round 1?
Well, the thing is, you always want to be careful with the energy. So, you might see like both players might just throw out 3 damage cards. The only problem is Tersaik's hand isn't that great. I wonder if he's going to pass and just hope he doesn't get his energy stolen, which would work out for him because Seb doesn't have any energy to destroy in his hand at the moment. So Tersaikk has to make the read, and he does.
Both sides do pass. No cattail on both sides as well, so this is just going to be pure damage towards the other side. Sando as well as Caterpillar coming in, providing 100 shields. And in terms of HP trade here, it's going to be Seb going down to 1 inch of his life. And but he does still have 2 energy. He did save 2 energy. He didn't go all out there, trusting that he wouldn't get hit by Goda. He did get hit by 1 Goda, but it isn't the end of the world, especially if you have Nemo.
Yeah, so even if you have more HP on your AXIEs, it doesn't necessarily mean you're winning. It just means that your opponent's just playing slower. And then since he has that energy, if he uses it next turn, it can completely change the board state around.
Yep, so Seb here, he doesn't really want to draw front cards. He hopes that he wants to draw, but just a lot more broad cards. And he actually doesn't draw anything on the front. That's actually pretty huge. Being able to not lose any cards, as well as maintain energy here. He does use the Nemo, does get burned off, but that's going to be the last Goda that we'll ever see in this round. And Seb is going to have a much better time just maintaining the tempo against both AXIEs from Tersaikk.
Yeah, and also Tersaikk not drawing anything in the front either. So both players actually kind of getting pretty lucky. The energy count's the same. The card count is in Tersaikk's favor. He does have a last stand also. So it's too close to tell even who's ahead here.
Yeah, both actually, like, even in the last stand dust, he doesn't draw anything on it. That's super. It's a super great situation there for Tersaikk. Does a decent amount of damage on towards the bug from Sep's side. He does have a lot of options to brick as well as heal, so he's not too worried about that. But the next turn with Tiny Dino activated for the bonus damage and 4 energy coming from the Reflectile, Sep is going to have to make a tough decision. Do I brick?
That was a great turn for Tersaikk, forcing Sep to use a Mosquito on a last stand AXIE, not getting any damage off of the mid. Like that's not where Sebastian wants to be at.
Oof, the reflect. Almost killing off the bug.
Does have the energy advantage though, which is something.
Yeah, and his bug does start first, like before Tersaikk's bug, so he feels pretty safe to play those cards because he just saw like a lot of damage already coming out. But here he does not die. He does a lot of damage, just spiky wing value. Caterpillars.
Oh. But this is going to reverse kill, and now the thing is though, we get the situation that we want. Seb gets the Aqua versus the bug, and it's just I just feel like this is unwinnable.
It is already so much damage. I mean, sure, that means you get Mosquito value, but at what cost, right? This is going to do so much damage. He might just die from this. Oh, miscalculation in terms of damage. And
Tersaikk, he doesn't. Keeping the double swallow in hand, just in case he takes damage next turn, gonna go right back to full.
Yeah, he doesn't 200 shields from the side of Sam. He's gonna be able to break through everything, maintain full health, and that's going to force Tersaikk to go on to a game number 5, the final decider to find out who moves on to the second round of the lower bracket. Seb clawing his way back, not letting himself get the gentleman sweep, and we're going to game 5.
Yeah, that was crazy. 300 shield on Aqua, that's disgusting. Gonna buy after this tournament?
It's a bird counter. Like, you can kill birds with turnip plus any 2 cards as long as there's a single cactus in it. It's a deceptively tanky AXIE as well, because turnip's 80 shields, herbivore is 75, and that makes up for the lack of shield of cactus quite a bit, which is very interesting. This was an AXIE that I actually wanted to purchase earlier at the start of the season because it was dirt cheap, but right now I think it's not a great situation. He does have the Scarab to go against the herbivore, which is actually pretty huge.
Yeah, exactly. But the herbivore heal, I feel like it's just like a bonus. Like 75-75 is just so good.
Yeah, for sure. Both sides just trading some damage here. Seb doesn't draw anything on his front, unfortunate. Just like the last game, once again. He did stock up 1 energy though, so that might come in huge. That might be a pressure point for Tersaikk, because 2 energy, your plant definitely survives. But with 3 energy on the mech, there is a situation where it will die, and this is the situation, especially if you don't draw anything on the front.
Oh yeah, and you can see the Dustus being faster than the plant. It's just an advantage because it makes it that Tersaikk can't even play cards if he had any.
Yeah, and here is where we start seeing cactus value come out. If he draws cactus, we definitely will see him use it. He doesn't need it for the shields. He probably just, maybe with Tersaikk having 4 energy, he probably will have to shield or brick to brick here. But looks like he's just going to pass, not even going to play the heroic reward, which is pretty surprising. I would think that you played anyways against Aquas.
Maybe not, because maybe he knows he's always going to get the card draw, and he's not going to use it this turn because of the 80 shield. So he wants to use it the turn after, so he actually gets damage off it. His last turn, yeah, he would have got the card draw. He doesn't really need the card draw. He has a full hand almost. So by doing it this turn instead of last turn, he actually gets 55 more damage onto the Aqua.
That makes so much sense. And he does get the Golda value. This might be a dead Aqua, it does kill him off. And full
Because
energy.
and Zero, that's literally because of the heroic reward being played the turn after.
It is. You're absolutely right. Oh, Seb.
That's actually really smart because I think I would just throw out heroic reward also just to draw the card as well. But like now that I'm like watching it from like like from the sky, it makes so much sense just to keep it in hand and use it next turn.
Really smart hits up play here. Both sides having 3 energy. I don't fancy the chances of this mech though, because Spiky Wing is there, and I think this mech is 100% dead. No way he survives this. Way too much damage from the Aqua.
Yeah, he kind of needed that plant to stay alive, but the thing is that a tanky plant, doesn't matter how tanky you are, Spiky Wing just slices like a knife through butter.
Yeah, Tersaikk made a really good pass the turn before, right? Not hitting into the brick wall, being able to stock up energy, go for